welcome everybody to episode 3 of the One Talk One Piece podcast. The podcast to listen to if you love One Piece or if you breathe oxygen. Today we're going to be reviewing chapter 968. I'm the host, Lee, and this is my co-host, Kento. So, Kento,
Yo,
what are your initial thoughts on the chapter?
my initial thoughts on chapter 968 of One Piece, following two or three pretty fantastic flashbacks. I would have to say that this was a fairly decent chapter, chronicling events that we knew that we were going to see coming and establishing, the aftermath of, I guess, we're approaching the end of this flashback. So it's pretty much most of what we expected. Like you said before,
Yeah, I mean, we predicted the chapter last week because there was no chapter. We did a 968 preview, and we basically got everything spot on, except the fact that we didn't see Kaido.
hmm,
We got everything spot on. We got the exposition from Roger and his crew, and we saw Odin arrive in Wano, and we saw his reaction. So we predicted it, man. So let's start this chapter review, man. So
yeah.
one thing at the beginning when Shanks is crying, he's holding Roger's jacket, it says that he asked some questions to Roger and then he started crying. So what do you think that means, man? Is that something to do with the hat? Is that something to do with, like, you have to pass on this will, you pass on the hat to the next generation? What is that about? That's what I think. I think Roger's telling Shanks to pass on the hat to the next generation, i.e. Luffy. But what does that mean? And does that have anything to do with the One Piece?
Why Shanks was crying?
It says Shanks was crying after Roger said something to him, like after
Hmm.
Roger answered his questions or something. That's what it said.
Yeah, so I think the most common uh instinct to think is that the man he's admired and looked up to is disbanding the crew and leaving, but I don't think that's really all there is to it. I think there's more to it
Yeah.
than that. And
Why Shanks in particular? Like,
yeah,
everybody was crying, but why Shanks? Because Shanks asked him something, and then it said that, and Roger answered, and that made Shanks cry. So what is that about?
I think there's a possibility to perhaps when the last chapter Shanks said that, one day he and Buggy, because he had to look after Buggy, like he and Buggy are gonna find out what's on Raftel themselves. It could be maybe either Roger spoiled it or he said that or something. He must have told him something to, that alluded to the fact that the last chapter Roger said that we were too early or something like that. Like, so I'm not sure. I think Shanks probably, it was either that or his captain is leaving, being thankful for taking him onto the ship, or maybe it's even something to do with Shanks's own. Maybe Roger revealed something to Shanks about himself, about Shanks, that he didn't know before. We know that Roger
Oh,
went to see Whitebeard right after this whole event, and then he knows things that Whitebeard doesn't. Like, what does the D stand for? And then he found what One Piece was. So, Roger's a very, very knowledgeable person. He holds a lot of knowledge. Maybe he found out something that, some sort of
do you,
revelation.
do you think Shanks is? Do you think Shanks is a D?
I don't think so. No.
I hope
For
not.
some reason. Yeah, I don't think so. I think he could be related to maybe the revelation had something to do with the fact that he was, a descendant of the ancient kingdom or something like that.
But that means he's
But
a
I don't know
D.
if he was a D. But the D is
Do you
also
not
an
think the ancient
enemy,
kingdom
right?
are Ds? Do you not think that? I mean, it's possible, but I just think that's like the general consensus.
Right. Maybe it has nothing to do with Raftel or One Piece. But yeah,
Yeah,
what do you think?
maybe it's just like, oh, you're my favorite cabin boy, or like, I believe in you. I believe you're gonna become a great pirate. Like Shanks
Mm,
asked him, like, Roger, can I become a great pirate one day? And then Roger's like, yes, you will become the strongest pirate in the world one day. Something like that, you
well,
know. I mean, Shanks is probably the strongest Yonko, You know?
Yeah, so
And
that
he's pretty
yeah, that
strong.
would be amazing.
Imagine if Shanks had 2 arms. Like he'd be OP. He'd be more. He'd be like, like he'd be even more OP. But anyways, one thing I noticed in what Roger was saying, he was saying that the Marines or like the world government gave the name to One Piece. That shocked me. I thought Roger gave the name to One Piece. Or rather, the world began calling the treasure One Piece. You know,
Yeah, that was interesting.
that wasn't even
That,
Roger's idea. That's game changing. That's like that goes against what we know.
yeah, the hidden treasure.
Yeah, the population, the people call it the One Piece, not Roger. When Roger was making his speech at the end, he was just referring to the name that the people gave a treasure.
So it says that
He
the
didn't create
world
that name.
began. It says the world began calling all the things Roger, all the things that he obtained with a certain name, One Piece. So does
Yeah.
that mean One Piece is a, collection or comprising of all the things that he has gathered? It seems like that's what the dialogue says, but I don't know.
That's what the people think.
Yeah, that's what they think. Yeah.
And I think it means that basically Roger didn't like tell anybody. So it's a mystery. So all they can assume that it's like it's like the accumulation of Roger's adventures, it's everything that he's gathered. They can't
Yeah.
quantify, they don't know what it is, so they can't definitively say, oh, Roger found the ancient secrets, Roger found the ancient weapon. Whatever One Piece is, they don't know what it is, so they're just classifying it as One Piece.
Right.
It just shows how much of a mystery the treasure really is. But I just found it interesting how Roger himself didn't call it One Piece, That was
Right.
the world. That was maybe the world government or, the people.
And he really doesn't like being called Gold Roger.
Yeah.
Like as always.
Yeah. As well, when Roger just seems so much more mature than Luffy. Like when he says goodbye to his crew.
Yeah.
And when he's just talking and throughout the flashback, he just seems so much like obviously he's way older, right?
Right.
But he doesn't seem as goofy as Luffy. If that makes sense. He doesn't seem as goofy.
He seems to be a more of a visionary and more attuned to the knowledge of the world around him is the impression that I get. Like he seems to know a lot about the world around him.
He's much more mature and smarter than Luffy.
He's much smarter for sure. And he places a lot of value
as well. Yeah.
on those things. Yeah.
I mean, he has the same essence of freedom, like that free spirit.
Yeah.
But he's different to Luffy. I like that. He's not Luffy 2.0. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What
did you
Right. Yeah.
So when they're talking about like he'll be born, our king will be born in a faraway sea, and the day when two kings meet again. What do you think of that? I had no idea, man.
So
when I read that, I mean, I had no idea. But now that I thought about it, maybe I have a little bit of an idea. But what did you think about it?
I thought it was Luffy meeting Shirahoshi. I'm not sure if that was. Yeah, that was my first impression.
It says two kings will meet again. Is that Blackbeard and Luffy?
Oh wow.
Because I don't think Roger's alive. So who else is the king? Blackbeard, right? Or it could be Shanks and Luffy. No, can't be. I don't know. It's so vague, you know what I mean? Like, who are the two kings?
One of them is Shirahoshi, because she's born in 10 years, according to the Shirley, who says the Little Mermaid will be born. Roger asked.
Before that, it says he'll be born. Our king will be born.
Yeah, and there's another one. Like he'll be born in the faraway sea, the day when two kings meet again.
Yeah. So Shirahoshi's not a king, right?
No, she's a princess.
I'm pretty sure she doesn't have a fucking dick. You know what I mean? She's not a guy. So she can't be a king, right?
Could be Luffy, a faraway sea from the New World, East Blue. I don't know. I really I have no idea what that could pertain to.
It must be something ancient, right? So what I'm thinking is that two kings that must mean they must be kings of two different kingdoms. So Blackbeard and Luffy are both D's. So I assume that the D clan is one kingdom, right? So they're from the same kingdom. So they can't both be king, right?
One of them could have been Joy Boy in the because it's a cycle that's repeating again. The day the two kings meet again. So, yeah.
But is Joy Boy dead? So that's the thing. Yeah, you could say two kings from different timelines, but then there's some time travel shit. There's some immortality shit going on. I don't think that. I don't know. You know, we can't assume that.
I'm pretty sure Joy Boy's dead, but I'm
Yeah.
just
So two kings
Yeah.
from different kingdoms. I thought it was Blackbeard and Luffy because of they're the two. One's the antagonist. One's
collision
one's the
course.
protagonist. One's the antagonist.
Right.
You know, but I'm thinking it might be either Shanks or Emu.
Oh,
Because you know my theory, right? I think Emu is the leader of the other kingdom that beat the
wants to be
D clan.
King of the
I think
world.
he's the OG world government king. That's what he is, right? He is. I think he's immortal. I think he's lived for centuries. I think he's the OG king of the enemy of the D clan. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I hope it's Emu.
honestly, I have no idea.
That'd be much
and then
more
they talk
interesting.
about Shirahoshi. So what do you make of that?
Nothing much. I think it's just connecting the dots of Fishman Island as far as Shirahoshi is concerned. Just kind of Oda linking the timeline, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, she's a character we're very familiar with at this point.
It seems like in the last two chapters, her importance is being
Elevated.
magnified. Yeah, elevated.
Yeah, true.
But what I found more interesting was when Roger talks about the voice. So he says the voice is the truth. That someone will be born and they will succeed us. That's obviously Luffy, right? Like the successor is Luffy. So Luffy's been born. But remember last week we were talking about this. We were talking about what is the voice of all things.
Right.
And they're saying the voice is the truth. It's basically like it's basically, you know how when Roger found One Piece, in the narrator he said they found out everything to do with the Void Century, the D Clan, all that shit, the ancient weapons.
Yeah.
The voice must be created, or the essence of the voice must be from the people who created One Piece, or the people who own One Piece. I don't know, the people who created One Piece. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right. And this isn't the first time that Rogers heard the voice near Fishman Island. He even talks about voice speaking in the seabed. The last time during the Fishman Island arc, we got a mini flashback of the Roger crew being there. So it's been emphasized that he hears this voice near the poneglyph or whatever. Yeah. And the Sea Kings as well.
But what do you deduce from that? Like, what do you think the voice is now that we've had a little bit more info? Like, Oda just keeps dropping these little bits of info. Yeah.
Do you think that, and this relates to, I think, one of your theories that you made, that the voice could be the spirit of the ocean or the god?
Oh, yes.
Do you think that's possible?
Yes. My theory, okay, basically for anyone who doesn't know, I think the voice is the voice of the sea god, and the sea god was his own entity. Like, he's the god of the One Piece verse. Like, no one can beat the sea god. He's not a person. He's like a deity. I think he's some sort of sea monster, whatever. But the sea god was basically allies with the D clan, with the ancient kingdom, and he gave the power to make devil fruits to the ancient. So, what did you think of Roger saying he's gonna meet Whitebeard before he dies? I mean, I know that he, like, in the actual story, that we've already seen that moment.
Right.
So when do you think that happens?
The question on my mind is whether this is that meeting where we see the flashback of them drinking sake.
It is. Obviously it is. It must be that. It is that.
So oh yeah, when he tells Whitebeard that he's dying and what the D stands for.
Yeah. That means he's seen One Piece. But then they're in fucking Wano. Why the hell do they not stop Kaido?
That's true. Yeah, we don't know what Kaido's.
It all
I
depends
mean,
on
we
what
have no
happens
idea
next.
where he is. Yeah, and Kaido's status, like, yeah, at this point, he could be anything from an upstart to an, Yonko. Like, we have no idea. Although we think that he's not, at that level yet.
Yeah.
But
So this is where we get into it, man. So I personally think Kaido right now is about Admiral level. Obviously, he's not Yonko level right now. Still very strong though. But what happens now? Does Odin fight Kaido right now, and then Kaido loses this one, and then Kaido comes back, gets stronger, and then beats Odin? What the hell happens? Because if Roger and Whitebeard are here, how come they can't stop Kaido? I mean, shouldn't they? Like, they like Odin. Like,
right. Yeah, they should stop him on his behalf. But the question on my mind is whether Kaido is simply sending, his forces to Wano. And the other question is, why is I still want to know why Kaido is so interested in Wano. Like, it seems like based on the timeline, if this is where he begins to, kind of be in the radar of Wano and Onigashima, then maybe he's been here for a long ass time. So why stay there for so long, and what is he trying to find? And yeah, it just seems like he's been on Wano. He's been a constant presence in Wano for a very long time.
but I just don't get why doesn't Roger and okay, I don't know why they don't stop him. But do you think so Odin's about to fight Orochi? Do you do you think Kaido stops him, or like do you think they fight now? Like next
Seems
chapter,
to
do you think
be
they fight
implied
once
like
and then?
I think next chapter Kaido should appear. I think we're both pretty. I think we both agree on this. He should appear, and it seems like this chapter seems to imply that there are consequences of Odin, attacking Orochi, being,
So do you
Kaido.
think? Yeah. So do you think Kaido and Odin fight once only?
Uh, I personally think that yeah, they fight once, and I don't know if that makes any sense in the storyline, but I just think they fight on Wano, and it just seems like everything at this point is pointing to the downfall of Odin and the current regime. Yeah, it seems that way to me at least. But you seem to think that they fight multiple times, and maybe even explain that Kaido could get stronger in the next fight. And I actually think
I
that's
mean,
also
I only
that
say
makes
that
more
I didn't
sense.
think that. Yeah, I didn't think that until now. I
Right.
always thought, okay, Odin shows up and then he sees the devastation of Wano and then they fight right away, or like very close to when he sees it, right? And then Odin loses. But now it seems like, oh shit, they actually have because there's a year until Roger dies, and Roger and Whitebeard come to Wano. So who the hell saves Orochi right now? Like it's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be Kaido right now. But who
So
will save
be one
Orochi
of
right now?
his subordinates. Yeah,
Who the
that's
fuck can stop
true. He
Odin?
has to. Maybe
Who the
there's a
fuck can stop
different
Odin?
party. So perhaps there's a third party involved, or
Who
maybe
can
it's
stop
just
him,
one of
man?
Kaido's boys, man. Yeah, no
The
one
only
on
person I can
Kaido's
think of
can
is
stop him.
Kyoshiro. The only person I can think of is Kyoshiro. But I don't
Exactly.
know
Yeah.
if the age. I don't know if they have the right age. I can bet. I think yeah, it has to be Kyoshiro or Denjiro. Probably Kyoshiro. Kyoshiro. Sorry, Kyoshiro. It can't be Denjiro. Denjiro's an ally. I'm thinking of like some sort of mind control shit, but no, it's gonna be Kyoshiro.
Know that
That's my prediction.
young
Kyoshiro. Kyoshiro will
Kaido was
stop
in
him, and then
Wano.
yeah, I know, but he's not right there. Like you can sense him if he's there.
He got
Stopping
his
Kaido.
scar like 24 years ago, right? Well, we don't know actually. But I think you're right. It seems to imply that Odin might have fought him more than once
Yeah, so then
years
he
ago,
loses
and
them.
then
Kaido
maybe
loses the
time is when he
round
gave him
one.
his scar.
Kaido loses round
Yeah,
one.
I mean, Kaido's
That'd be cool. That'd
based on his
add some
track
character
record.
to Kaido. Like we actually get to see him lose a fight. We actually get to see him develop. You know, have the desire to get stronger. But
And
that's
he
just
has
yeah.
he has lost to a lot of people. Like we know, he just hasn't been killed, and you have the fact that Odin. Yeah, it also adds more character to Odin as well. Like adds more hype at least to what we already know that he's
That
very
makes Odin
strong.
pretty strong. Yeah, like really strong. As I said, I think Kaido's admiral level. So that would only show that he has a ways to go to become Yonko. You know what I mean? And maybe
Yeah,
sometimes when you fail, when you lose, you learn from it and you get stronger. That's
yeah.
how Luffy's done it. Luffy's lost and he gets stronger every time he loses, right?
I think there's an
That's
essential
cool.
that's an essential quality to like every currently established One Piece character that's strong. They do that. They all have to, have they all have these. They're all counter fall down to get stronger, get beaten to get stronger, have that will, yeah, desire to improve. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Kaido went through that as well.
Everyone has that, man, except Mihawk.
Yeah,
Kidding,
yeah,
kidding. He probably did lose in his younger days.
pretty sure he has it quite a
He
bit.
should,
I'm
but if he
pretty sure.
didn't, then well, fair enough. But anyways, that was just interesting how Roger and Whitebeard haven't even landed at Wano, yet we know that the future is that Kaido takes over. I just can't. I
So,
don't know how everything ties in. You know, is there gonna be a plot hole? I don't know. I hope not.
so what do you think of ending? I mean, that scene. What are your thoughts on the departure of Roger and the farewell with the rest of his crew?
Man, he said something special to Shanks and he said something special to Rayleigh. So those two get special
Yeah,
treatment, right? Um,
yeah,
I think he
clearly,
just
yeah.
to- I think he told Rayleigh just to take care of the crew, and I think he just told Shanks like something about the will of D, like pass on to the next generation, some shit like that. I thought the farewell was honestly not even that heartwarming. Like it was so casual. That's what I'm saying. Like it, he's so casual. I'm not saying he doesn't care about his crewmates. He cares about them, but he doesn't express it in such a like heartwarming way.
Do you
He's not
think we'll
super
see this
sentimental,
moment
but he does
again?
care. He does love his crew. He loves his crew to death, but he doesn't show it.
See moment again in the future, like this flashback, but in a different context, maybe? Because it feels like right now it just seems we're just speeding through. Maybe in the future, like Endgame, when we get a flashback of more than just like Roger's final days, maybe we might get a bit more context to it all. A little more substance to that farewell.
I think that's all we're gonna get.
All
To be
right,
honest,
all right.
I think the next time we see Roger will be his execution. I mean the flashback, right? Maybe
Yeah,
we might not even see him again. I think now it's back to Wano. Like now it's back to still a flashback, but it's about Wano now. I mean, this was supposed to
yeah,
be a fucking
they,
Odin flashback. It wasn't supposed to be a Roger flashback. It was just
yeah,
great
and
that we
that's
saw him. He's part of it,
right,
right? But we've
right.
already seen Roger get executed. We've seen the fucking goons cut his head off. But it's not about that right now. It's about Odin.
And that's why I think maybe Odin's PO, maybe we'll get a little more sub.
I mean, we might get to see Roger appear in Wano again in the flashback and talk to Whitebeard. But that's a big maybe. Maybe they won't show that again, since we've already seen it. Um, but yeah, let's move on to what happened with Orochi now, man. So Odin was giving Orochi money and he backstabbed him, man. He backstabbed him.
Yeah,
He basically planted factories. He made an alliance with Kaido. That's weird though, man. We didn't get to see it. We didn't get to see what made Orochi and Kaido. How did they meet? How did they form the partnership? How did they form this, partnership, man? That's one thing I really wanted to see. I
hmm
hope they show it later. I mean,
I
that's
think they
like something I
will.
really wanted to fucking see, dude. How the fuck does that make sense?
I think that when or both, like when Orochi gets taken, like how he came power, how he got. Kaido a bit, his involvement in the suspense. Like, we don't know how, but yeah, I think we'll see it soon. But what I think about Orochi is that he was appointed as Odin's substitute. And yeah, what do you think of that? Like, what do you think of the fact that Orochi was seen as a brother to Odin by Odin, lending money to him,
He wasn't though,
and
man.
then
No, he
yeah, he
wasn't. He
wasn't
wasn't.
his brother.
He
Yeah.
wasn't. No, but he was. No, that was the witch, dude. The witch was impersonating as Odin. Odin never
Yeah.
said that about Orochi. Odin doesn't give a fuck about Orochi.
So what do you think of
He
Witch
just gave him
now?
money.
Like,
He just gave him money. He just gave him money because he felt sorry for him and he owed Yasui a favor. But he never said that about Orochi. That was the witch who said that in front of some people so that everyone thinks that Odin said that, but it wasn't.
I see.
Yeah, that was the witch, man. But anyways, I like how we got to see Odin. He cares about his family, and he got super pissed off. He grabs his swords. He grabs his two. He grabs Enma and the other one. I forgot what it's called. And he's gonna cut down Orochi, man. And I noticed this. Like I was looking at the panels, bro. He's
Mhm.
fucking super speed, dude. Like he's like it's a small feat here, right? It's a small feat. But in one of the panels, we see Odin. He jumps across this massive ravine. Bro, I'm saying there's like a bridge there, man. Why don't you just take the bridge? He jumps over it, dude. Like look at that panel. I just saw it, and
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive, man. Like, dude, this guy's strong. Like
Yeah,
he's
he
got
went
legs. He
through
trains legs for sure. Like
all
he
of
just fucking
Wano.
runs and he jumps over the ravine, casually.
He went through everything, like the entire country, the woods, the
Yeah,
forest,
that's a
and then he
feat,
got to
bro.
that bridge.
Bro, like Wano's pretty big, man. It's a large distance. He just ran to the capital.
He just storms to the flower capital and coming for his head. Yeah, right to the
Yeah, and he beats the
palace.
guards that are there.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Dude, Odin is fucking. He's strong, man. He's admiral level, man. That's what I'm saying.
So he
And
easily storms
Orochi.
the castle. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's not surprising, but I just mean like the speed feat, and he jumps across the ravine like that easily. There's probably even several of those ravines. He just jumps over it casually. That's a cool panel, man. I didn't notice it, but the panel is actually Odin's there in the middle, and he's jumping over the ravine. I thought it was just like, oh, he's showing us a picture of like the moon or something. I don't know.
Well, we
But
know he's fast, like he's
yeah, but that's a cool. I'm just saying it's a cool panel though.
right.
I mean, I expect
Or
him
even
to, I expect him to do that, but it's just cool to see that.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very fast.
Yeah. So we get to the end here, and he's like, Odin's gonna cut him down. I already said what I think is gonna happen. I think Kyoshiro, a young Kyoshiro, will save him. What do you think is gonna happen? Next chapter, like at the start, like Odin's gonna cut him down, or what's gonna happen? Who's gonna save Orochi? Because we know Orochi survives, right? We know he survives.
My prediction, I think they're gonna have a bit of they're gonna have a conversation before, like a little, like clearly Orochi's gonna try to wheel his way out. What role do you think the witch is gonna play, if any, or do you think she's already dead by this point?
I don't know if she's dead yet. I mean, I don't think it makes sense if she's dead because we didn't get to see it. But
Do
we
you
know she
think
has to die because the Mr. 2 has that fruit right now.
do you think this is the witch? What if he
Yeah, I was
cuts
gonna just
down
ask you that. I was gonna ask
the
you that, but the
right?
demeanor and the personality seems too much like Orochi, so I'm not sure about that. But it could be. I mean, it could be. But you know, the demeanor, like the personality, it seems like Orochi, like very cowardly. Yeah, it seems like
Don't
Orochi,
see
but it could be.
it's hard for me to imagine Oda just in the next chapter just bringing in Kaido right there in the palace. He just breaks in and saves him. It's hard for me to imagine that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
That's what I'm
don't.
saying. That it's not
Yeah,
gonna be that.
it's something else. But yeah, Orochi has to survive. The next chapter, I think it's gonna be a pretty damn good. I can't wait for the next one because we're gonna probably see the ending of this flashback sooner. Maybe like 2 more
Remember what I
chapters, I
told you,
think.
bro, about the break schedule? You know how I told you it works? Basically, Oda, he does the chapters in three week waves. So after the break, right? The first chapter is like setup, second chapter better setup, third chapter is hype, like cliffhanger. That's how I've noticed it happens. Every time before there's a break, usually it's a cliffhanger, right? Usually. So the
Right.
next chapter will be obviously better than this one, like more hype. And then the third chapter will be the end of the flashback. That's gonna be, and then it's gonna be a break, and it's like, oh fuck, we can't wait till we're back in the present. Holy shit, we know what happened now, you know. And then
Yeah.
the same process will repeat itself. I've noticed that a lot. Like I've noticed that every single time we go on break, that sequence always happens again. It's always 3 chapters, usually.
The impression that I get from these flashbacks sometimes is just from reading the manga is how sometimes they happen so quickly, and then when we come back to the present time, it's like whoa, like that was a ride, uh like we have all this new information to go on to add on to what's going on in the current timeline. But yeah,
Yeah. So what do you rate this chapter out of 10? So what do you rate the chapter out of 10?
but yeah, I'm just saying it was a standard chapter. For me, this chapter there was a lot of exposition, some good moments, uh, some reveals that were substantial in regards to the voice of all things, as we discussed, and wrapping up, or not wrapping up, but closer to the end of the Wano flashback than we think. I give this a 7 out of 10. It would have to be a lower 7, you know,
Yeah,
not like
what is
not
the lower 7? It's a
crazy.
7. It's a
Yeah, the
7 or a
7.
6.5.
I like the part with Shanks. I like the part with Odin, as you said, like him storming Wano Castle was badass. The Flower Capital, making his way there, so quickly. Uh, Seeing Kinemon, Momonosuke, all those characters, that was good. So yeah, we get the sense of how big Odin was in his, country. So it was a good chapter. Nothing too crazy. What about you?
I give the chapter 6.5 out of 10. That was a good chapter, man.
Yeah,
Like 6.5 is not a bad rating, man. Like
right.
a standard
That's
chapter is a
decent.
5. Like so 6.5 is actually good.
Fair
Like
enough.
5 is a decent chapter. 5 is like, like I told you this rating system is not very lenient.
Yeah.
It's proper, man. Like to be a 10, there should only be in the whole series like 20 10 out of 10 chapters in the whole fucking series.
Hmm.
Or else the 10 is not special. They're just
Right.
everything's a fucking 10. But like I like the parts. The reason why I give it not a 5 and a 6.5 is because of the exposition that
Yeah.
we got about the voice, Shirahoshi, Joy Boy. We didn't even talk about that, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh my God.
yeah, so we'll talk about that quickly. So I give it a 6.5 out of 10, and just because of the lore and the
Yeah.
history, I give it, maybe 6.5. Fuck it, 6.5. So what do you think about that Joy Boy thing? It makes it seem like Joy Boy is not even a person. It's like
A spirit.
something, a spirit, yeah, like that gets passed down.
It seems like he keeps getting mentioned throughout the story, like even throughout this arc and flashback. Like when they said there's a reason why Wano is isolated, but they should keep the borders open until the day that Joy Boy reappears. Like that stuff like that. They keep saying that until he reappears. Like it seems like there's a lot of connections, to him or to it, whatever Joy Boy is. Uh, and then it's very cryptic as well what Roger says. Like, what did he find with the One Piece? Like, why does he think they didn't come at the right perfect time for it? And what did he find? Maybe found out something about Joy Boy that connects to the world. So yeah, I think it seems at this point that Joy Boy is less of a person and more of a spirit, like something that has maybe he's the link between Roger and Luffy or something like that. Although I hope not. I don't want it to be personally. I just don't want him to be like what the Sage of Six Paths was in Naruto. Kind of this. You know what I mean? Like I really
Yeah,
don't want
fuck
that
that.
sort of thing. I want Joy Boy to be very unique. Like I think he fits whatever he is. He fits the tone of One Piece, the series, and the lore behind around him. Like honestly, to be honest with you, in Fishman Island, I didn't really give a shit like who Joy Boy was because I wasn't that interested in that. I thought his connection was to Shirahoshi and the Noah's Ark. But
I
now,
cared
like
about him.
with
Yeah.
all the stuff that we know about him, he just keeps getting more. The lore around him is much more and more interesting now
Do
than
you think that
you know.
do you think Joy Boy is the original owner of a straw hat?
I think it's possible because Emu seems to have some sort of resentment towards the Straw Hat, or at least there's some connection there. I think there's a contrast that there's the ancient kingdom, the clan of D, and their enemies. Probably the world government, who are the enemies, and you have Emu on that side. So, yeah, I think it's possible the Joy Boy was the owner of the Straw Hat, and the Straw Hat itself is a very important artifact that or at least a memorabilia passed on from Roger to Shanks and now Luffy. So maybe the Straw Hat's significance is tied into Joy Boy and all that. But
Do you
yeah,
think Joy Boy is the person who left behind One Piece, whatever One Piece might be? I mean,
it
because
seems
Roger
like it.
said that, like Roger said that he wished he lived in Joy Boy's era, right? And we kind of
Yeah,
joked around last week. We said maybe it's just like nudes of Joy Boy. That's what One Piece
yeah,
is. One Piece is
yeah.
just fucking nudes of Joy Boy.
It's
But like,
trolling.
no, on a real talk though, I feel Joy Boy is the original, if you would call him Pirate King. Not Pirate King. He would be the equivalent of a Pirate King, but he's the person who found One Piece, or like who created One Piece. You know what I mean?
Maybe he was the
He's
most free
basically he
person.
basically is the Sage of Six Paths, but a better version. Like he is the equivalent of the Sage of Six Paths in the One Piece verse.
Right.
Hopefully done better. Hopefully has a better story.
Hope
Hopefully he's a
so.
better character.
When Shanks was crying, like I was just imagining, wouldn't it be funny if he was crying because Roger told him, the secret to One Piece is like what One Piece actually is Joy Boy's, like a picture of his ass, and that's why Shanks is crying. But no, seriously, like last week we talked about freedom and the meaning of freedom in One Piece.
That was good.
And there's a panel here where Roger said, "Oh, they're drinking and celebrating," and he says, "Let's go to a sea free of those Marines." And then what you said about how he said he wished to have lived in Joy Boy's era. So yeah, maybe Joy Boy was the most free person in all of One Piece. Who knows? Maybe that's why he was Joy Boy. He was a happy boy.
Yeah, I wonder if that's his real name. Like, is it Joy D Boy? Is he a D?
It's possible, man. We don't know if maybe he was the progenitor, the first D. Who the hell knows? We have no
I don't
idea
think
about
he's
that
a god. I don't think
timeline.
he's. I really.
Oh yeah,
I think
same.
there's a sea god. I don't think he's a sea god.
Yeah, yeah,
I just think he's like a D clan member, but he's obviously very high up there. Perhaps maybe he's the king of the D's.
yeah. Or maybe he was
But
like the first pioneer of
but you know what I
something.
don't like? I'm getting this vibe, bro. I'm getting the vibe of Destiny. I'm getting the fucking Chosen One vibes. So I hope Luffy isn't like I hope Roger isn't just like a descendant of Joy Boy, and then Luffy's a descendant of Roger, who's a descendant of Joy Boy as well. And by descendant, I don't mean by blood. I mean by will,
Inheriting the
rather.
will. Yeah, screw that.
Yeah, man, that's some bollocks, dude. That's some bullshit. Like, come on, that's so fucking
Should not
cliche.
be.
That's been done like every fucking shonen anime, man.
And Luffy's got enough
Oh,
connections, man. He's got so many connections
like if
already.
Luffy was the chosen one, and it's not special. Like then his journey was just fated. It was fate.
Meant to
Like
be,
he
yeah.
had to be. He had to be the Pirate King. No one else could have been the Pirate King except the chosen one, Monkey D. Luffy. That's some bullshit, dude.
So yeah, I guess that wraps up,
I'm not a
the
fan of that. I'm not
chapter.
a fan. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that though. I'm not a fan of Joy Boy being like this spiritual entity that's passed on from fucking D to D.
I
No
hope not.
homo.
Yeah.
I hope not, man. Like that's some bullshit. But yeah, that was interesting though. I hope Oda can surprise us with the lore and not make things too predictable. Because that's what I love about One Piece. It's not predictable.
I hope he takes a more nuanced route,
Yeah, I
whereas
hope he makes it a bit dark as
yeah,
well. I hope there's a
yeah.
little twist there as well. Maybe Shanks
Unexpected,
is
yeah.
evil. Maybe Joy Boy is actually like evil, and the Marines were good the whole time. That'd be some crazy shit. Like, what if the Marines were actually good the whole time?
Yeah,
What
imagine
if
if
the Golden State
Shanks
were
was
actually
the
just looking
enemy.
out for the world, and the pirates were actually fucked up? That would be crazy.
I mean, you have Zebek, so
And Oda's
he
like,
was
you know
pretty
what? I
fucked
said in
up.
the first chapter, these guys are fucking pirates. I said that. You guys just thought that they were good guys. That would be insane, dude. Like the pirates were actually the bad guys. Oh, that'd be crazy. And the world government was, yeah, they're corrupt, but they're still good. You know what I mean? Like they have the best interest of the people. Yeah. Anyways. So yeah, that was our review for chapter 968.
Yeah, it was a good chapter. Decent.